He was the man people trusted with their lives, a nurse, a caregiver, a professional trained to keep patients alive. But behind that gentle smile was a man who silently killed over 40 people. No gun, no knife, just a syringe and a smile. This is the true story of Charles Cullen, the serial killer nurse who used hospitals as his hunting ground, and the woman who risked everything to stop him. This is The Good Nurse, Real Story versus Netflix. To understand how a man like this could go unnoticed for 16 years, we need to go back. Charles Cullen was born in 1960 in New Jersey. By the time he was 9, he had already lost his father, and by 17, his mother died in a tragic car crash. That loss broke something in him. He attempted suicide for the first time just days after she died. But Charles didn't look like a killer. He looked ordinary, calm, even kind. He joined the Navy, then left. He trained as a nurse, and that's when his story turned dark. Because once he started working at hospitals, patients began dying, and no one could figure out why. Cullen worked in at least 9 different hospitals across New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and everywhere he went, patients died. Not violent deaths, not suspicious deaths. They died of sudden heart attacks, unexpected organ failure, mysterious drug overdoses. Charles was using hospital access to inject lethal doses of drugs like digoxin, insulin, and norepinephrine. These drugs were meant to save lives. He used them to end them. Some victims were already terminally ill. Others were recovering. Some were even on the verge of discharge. There was no pattern, just death. And every time a hospital began to suspect something was wrong, they let him go. No police, no report, just a quiet recommendation letter so he could go kill again somewhere else. In 2003, Cullen began working at Somerset Medical Center. That's where he met Amy Loughren, a single mom, an ICU nurse, and someone who would unknowingly get close to a killer. Amy suffered from a heart condition. She worked long night shifts with Charles, who seemed gentle, supportive, helpful. They became friends. He even helped her hide her illness from the hospital to keep her job. But then, patients started dying, and the deaths didn't make sense. Amy noticed the pattern, and when the hospital's system flagged unusual medication activity, they asked Amy to help them investigate. She didn't know what to do. This man had cared for her, looked after her kids, was her only friend. But Amy made a choice. She decided to become the whistleblower and risked everything to stop him. Amy wore a wire. She met Charles for coffee. Her hands were shaking. She looked him in the eyes and asked the question no one dared ask. Did you do it? Charles didn't deny it. He didn't fight. He just confessed. Over the next few weeks, he admitted to killing at least 40 patients, but investigators believe the number could be over 400. 400 deaths across 9 hospitals over 16 years. The biggest serial killer in American healthcare history was a quiet, helpful nurse. And if Amy hadn't stepped in, he may have never been caught. Netflix's The Good Nurse is surprisingly accurate. Yes, it dramatizes moments, but the core story, it's very real. Amy really did have a heart condition. She really worked nights with Charles. She did wear a wire and get him to confess. What the movie doesn't fully show is how many hospitals covered for Cullen, how many warning signs were ignored, how the system allowed it to go on for 16 years. Charles Cullen wasn't just one man killing silently. He was a product of a healthcare system that refused to speak up, and that is the most terrifying part of all. So now we ask you, was Charles Cullen evil from the start? Or was he created by trauma, silence, and a broken system? Tell us in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe to Reel, because movies tell you the fiction. We bring you the truth.